The main character of the story is a 21-year-old university student who is passionate about nature and loves hiking. One day he decides to go on a multi-day hike with his girlfriend, Lily, to a remote nature reserve. This is a secluded area, sparsely populated, with dense forests and fresh air, perfect for escaping the noise of city life. As they venture deeper into the forest, it suddenly starts to rain heavily. They search for shelter and unexpectedly discover an old cabin, which seems to have been abandoned for a long time. Although the cabin looks unsafe, it is the only shelter available in the storm. Once inside, they feel a bit relieved from the rain. The cabin, though old, is equipped with basic amenities, and the atmosphere inside feels warmer compared to the outside. However, as they rest, a strange feeling begins to emerge. Something unusual under the ground makes them uneasy. They investigate and discover a human arm protruding from the ground, but what's strange is that it doesn't look like any normal human arm. It appears to be an abnormal object, making them feel unsettled. They decide to report it to the forest ranger, but things do not unfold as expected. The situation quickly becomes dangerous, preventing them from leaving. As they continue to explore the cabin, a strange feeling pervades the air around them. After discovering the strange arm under the ground, curiosity and worry begin to mix in their minds. However, instead of panicking immediately, they decide to keep investigating and try to unravel the mysterious phenomenon. After some time, they realize this isn't just an ordinary incident, but might involve a supernatural occurrence or an inexplicable event they can't immediately comprehend. Despite feeling uneasy, they do not leave the cabin right away and attempt to gather more information to understand the place better. At that moment, a strong gust of wind blows through the window, making the atmosphere inside even more eerie and frightening. The appearance of a ghostly figure from the forest only increases their fear. Unable to wait any longer, they decide to contact the nearby ranger to report the situation and find a way to leave the cabin. When the ranger arrives, they realize they are not the only ones who have encountered strange phenomena. Others have experienced similar situations in this area. What shocks them is that all these stories have one thing in common. Strange events happen right inside the cabin and the surrounding area, making those who visit feel like they are being watched by an invisible force. Before they can explain further, they realize they've gotten lost in a chaotic, mysterious, and dangerous situation. As they try to understand the strange events that have occurred, they find that everything becomes even harder to explain. Despite their efforts to find a reasonable explanation, the feelings of anxiety and unease still linger. Strange noises echo in the cabin, as if reminding them that this place is not just an ordinary shelter. They begin to sense an invisible force lurking around them, as though something is watching them from the shadows. The sense of threat becomes more apparent, but instead of panicking, they try to stay calm and find a way out of the situation. However, all their efforts are in vain as the oddities in the cabin do not subside. They realize that perhaps everything they are going through is part of a mysterious series of events that no one can explain. Along with the strange noises and unsettling feelings, a particularly unusual event occurs. A door suddenly opens with no clear reason, causing them to panic. In an instant, the surrounding space becomes silent and tense. They try to keep their composure, but the fear seems to begin to overwhelm them. Eventually, they decide to leave the cabin, hoping to escape the strange occurrences. However, before they go, they feel a strange presence, as if someone is standing behind them. This sensation quickly urges them to leave, but they can't shake off an unprecedented fear. The tension and the mysterious atmosphere continue to grow as they proceed on their journey. Every event seems like a series of warning signs that something is wrong around them. Despite trying to ignore it, the strange sounds and ghostly presence from the darkness remain in their minds. Automatic doors opening and objects moving without explanation only heighten the tension. They begin to question the reality of what is happening, wondering if this is a dream or an inexplicable truth. These questions linger in their minds, but no one can provide a clear answer. As they continue down long and dark corridors, the feeling of being watched becomes stronger. It seems like someone is always behind them, watching their every move, but when they turn around, there's no one there. Along with the increasing unease, they begin to feel the tension in the air as if an unseen force is controlling everything. The feeling of disorientation and fear makes it harder to concentrate. Every step becomes heavier, as they don't know if they are heading towards safety or into a deadly trap. In the end, when they decide to stop and try to figure out how to resolve the situation, everything becomes blurry and difficult to save. No matter what, they cannot stop worrying about what will happen next. The situation becomes increasingly tense as they realize they've fallen into a spiral they can't escape from. Every event around them is unexplainable, and it seems like an invisible force is controlling everything. The strange elements and suspicious signs continue to appear, making them feel uneasy. They begin to suspect the presence of an underlying force, something beyond human understanding. The unease grows as they begin to notice strange changes in their environment. Objects in the room no longer seem to be in the right place, windows suddenly open without explanation, and automatic doors open and close without anyone controlling them. The air seems heavier, and every step they take feels vague, as though someone is watching their every move. When trying to find a way out, they realize they've gone too far and have no point to return to. Every turn leads them down a confusing and difficult path. The feeling of being trapped becomes stronger, and they can do nothing but keep moving forward, hoping to find a way out of this situation. The situation becomes even more terrifying when they realize everything around them could be a trap, set up to test their patience and alertness. But will they find a way out before everything spirals out of control? This question continues to echo in their minds, and there is no clear answer. Things become even harder to understand when they realize they are not the only ones experiencing these strange events. Out-of-control occurrences continue to happen one after another, as if an invisible force is intentionally testing them. Every time they think they've figured out the problem, new signs emerge, making everything even more mysterious than before. Despite all efforts to find an explanation, they increasingly feel trapped in a never-ending loop. The strange events keep happening with increasing frequency. At times, they are no longer sure if they are awake or in a dream, as everything around them seems to become an illusion. However, they cannot stop. It is too late to turn back, and every next step leads them to new challenges. Sometimes they think they will never find a way out, but this only drives them to keep moving forward. It seems that the only way to find answers to their questions is to continue. As they begin to grow accustomed to the tension, strange signs continue to appear, but now they don't scare them as much as before. They begin to realize that this may be part of a larger game, a test they must overcome to find the answers. But will they have enough patience and intelligence to decipher everything, or will they be forever caught in this cycle? With each step forward, they sense that everything is becoming more obscure and complex. The strange signs keep appearing, making them suspect that some invisible force is influencing their every move. Initially, they thought it was just a coincidence, but gradually, they realize that all these phenomena are deeply connected, though they can't yet explain it. However, the strangeness doesn't stop at the signs. It also manifests through unseen feelings, as though they are always being watched. During quiet moments, they feel a heavy pressure, as if something is waiting for them up ahead. Despite trying to rationalize it, every answer only deepens their confusion. None of them can provide a satisfactory explanation, and they begin to wonder if everything they are experiencing is part of a larger plan they can't yet see. The world around them seems to grow increasingly unfamiliar. What once seemed familiar now feels terrifying and incomprehensible. The feeling of being trapped in a maze with no way out is stronger than ever. However, instead of succumbing to the ambiguity, they are determined not to stop. Every next step is an effort to uncover the truth, even though they don't know if they will ever escape this cycle. Will they ever find an answer to these mysteries? Or will their journey lead them to an unpredictable end? All of this is still awaiting an answer. The deeper they go, the more they realize they are facing things beyond their understanding. Every sign, no matter how small, becomes part of a complex puzzle they cannot see the full picture of. Strange phenomena seem to appear not by chance, but as if deliberately orchestrated. The odd events, from mysterious sounds to vague images, make them question the true purpose of their journey. What once seemed like a simple journey has now turned into a tough battle between reason and emotion. Every step makes them feel an invisible pressure weighing down on them. What's more, these indescribable feelings keep surfacing, making them wonder if they are on the right path or just pawns in a game they don't understand. Despite their confusion, they refuse to stop. Each person in the group has their own reason to keep going, and although no one can be sure about the future, they are determined to press on. The challenges and mysteries keep appearing, but they only make them more resilient. Surely the answers to all these things have yet to be revealed. But they know they must continue to face the challenges and hope that in the end, the truth will come to light. Each step is a struggle with themselves, but it's the only way for them to better understand this world and what lies ahead.